It's Juneteenth. Happy holiday. This is Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer, and welcome to another edition of Washington Informer News, otherwise known as WIN TV. Yeah, it's Juneteenth, and we are so happy to celebrate this day with you. Please be sure to click share on Facebook and let your friends and followers know you're watching WIN TV. Don't forget to click like on Facebook and check out our YouTube channel to see some of our past shows. I hope you've had a chance to pick up your copy of the Washington Informer this week. Our reporters are hard at work. You know, they've been busy bringing you news about the community and to tell you stories, some of the things about your community that you need to know. So don't forget to stay with us through the end of our program for another edition of Bridge TV with the media prints and sounds of the DMV. So once again, happy Juneteenth. It's now a federal holiday. There's so many events planned. We hope you get to enjoy some of them. And we also want you to learn and understand the history of that day. Pick up a copy of the Informer, as I said before, and read this week's story by Washington reporter James Wright, who happens to be from Austin, Texas, and deeply, deeply understands. It's a Texas thing as far as Texans are concerned, but I think now that it's a national holiday, they are so happy to have the rest of the nation to celebrate along with them and to celebrate just what the meaning of that is. And of course, for those of us in the nation's capital, we have our own story, and you know, we have our own holiday, which is Emancipation Day, which is in April. And so, you know, it just means that I don't know what's happening, what the tone is in this country. And I know one thing, according to another article we wrote in the Informer, it's not time to rest or to get comfortable. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And there's a lot of, I don't want to say catching up, because we're not trying to catch up with folks. We're just trying to get what we know we deserve for the work that we put in and the value that we give and what we have put into this country. So having said that, happy Juneteenth. And we want you to make sure that you share what you've learned about this occasion. We just finished talking about Tulsa. There's so many stories about Black people in our history that's not being shared. And it's up to us to make sure that we learn those stories and to share them with the young people in our lives. Who knows? Look for a story from Sam Collins coming up pretty soon about what's happening with equity in education and how Black history will be told. Follow us. These are the kinds of stories we want to provide to you. And we want you talking about them and getting engaged and involved. We also want to wish all the fathers and father figures a very happy Father's Day. Today, we'll be joined by Cliff Rogers, Director of Career Pathways at Covenant House here in Southeast, who'll be talking to us about an event they're hosting tomorrow, going back to the subject of Juneteenth, about Juneteenth. They're having a Juneteenth celebration there, and we're going to get some details on that. Community organizer Stuart Anderson is with us today to talk about DC Black Fathers Matter motorcade this Sunday. You may want to participate. We're also looking forward to speaking to Yadiya, founder of Mochella and organizer of Mochella's Kids Haven. He'll be with us to talk about an event planned Sunday to celebrate fathers with not just Black music, but with DC's music. The 100 Black Men of Greater Washington, D.C. is joining us again this week and next Friday as well. You know, we asked them to help us to recognize a father deserving of the Father of the Year title. Well, that person will join us and we'll learn why he was recommended. We also have joining us some of the Washington Informer's fathers, reporters Hamil Harris, Prince George's County Editor William Ford, Editor Kevin McNair, photographer Roy Lewis, and my husband, Lafayette Barnes. And lastly, we'll get a chance to talk to Kim Ford of Martha's Table about their upcoming Fathers to the Front event. And if you ever thought you were a master on the barbecue grill, well, stay tuned to meet a 13-time winner of the Giants National BBQ Battle. Before we bring on our guests, let's hear from our broadcast reporter, Curtis Knowles.
This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. The U.S. Senate has passed a resolution on Tuesday establishing June 19th as Juneteenth National Independence Day. Juneteenth is known as a celebration for when all America's slaves were granted their freedom. Political analysts believe the bill will be passed through the House rather quickly, which will allow government workers to have the day off. It remains to see if local governments or the private sector will recognize the holiday. The Maryland Public Service Commission has set up an $83 million fund to help struggling residents who fell behind on their utility bills during the coronavirus pandemic. The program, funded through the Relief Act, allocated the funds to utility companies, which in turn will offer bill credits to qualifying customers. The program funds 3 categories in sequential order, with customers who have received state emergency assistance over the past 4 years as the first who will receive consideration, followed by people who have medical needs certificates to file with a utility company, and those with the oldest outstanding balances. A Pulitzer Prize will be awarded to Minnesota teen Darnella Frazier, who filmed the horrific video of George Floyd's murder. Aminda Marquez Gonzalez, co-chair of the Pulitzer Prize board, stated her reasoning for selecting Frazier. The video spurred protests against police brutality around the world, highlighting the crucial role of citizens and journalists' quest for truth and justice, states Gonzalez. While Frazier feels proud of her new place in history, her newfound status has some drawbacks. Behind this smile, behind these awards, behind the publicity, I'm still trying to heal from something I'm reminded of every day, states Frazier. Congratulations are due to the Washington Informer staff member Anthony Tillman, who was the winner of the feature photography category in the Dateline Awards. The awards are hosted by the Society of Professional Journalists DC chapter. He won for his piece, Cathedral Exhibit of Doves, symbolizing hope for the days and year ahead. I am humbled and honored, says Tillman. This is Curtis Knowles with Win TV News.
Thanks a lot, Curtis. Appreciate that. And yeah, I want to give a shout out not only to Anthony Tillman, but also who was the winner for a photograph that we published in a front page of the Washington Informer, but also to Kevin McNair as well as Stacey Brown, both who were recognized as finalists in the SPJ Award. So we want to thank them and commend them for their honor, and look forward to more great things from our entire staff as we move forward. Joining me now is Cliff Rogers, Director of Career Pathways at the Covenant House here in Southeast. Hey, Cliff.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. Now, before we get into this event, this Juneteenth event, tell us a little bit about Covenant House and what you do there.
You. All right. So Covenant House, Greater Washington, we're located in Southeast 2001 Mississippi Avenue. We work with young folks, primarily 18 to 24 years old, who are experiencing homelessness. We work with returning citizens as well, folks who have aged out of the foster care system. And we work with those young people to help them stabilize their lives, right? And what does that look like? They need housing, they need employment, they need educational opportunities. So we work with those young folks to help them stabilize their lives and to find themselves, help them get out of their just challenging situation that they're in right now. So
I want to ask, because I know we're talking about Juneteenth, but I am curious and concerned also. How did the young people that you work with get through this COVID pandemic? How did it impact them? And did you all have to do anything different in your programming to address some of the things that they may have experienced?
I appreciate you asking that question. Yes, so COVID has dramatically changed a lot of things, how we do services. The first thing is we want to make sure all the young people are safe. So we wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to get tested, first of all. So we had testing at our site in the parking lot monthly. And then we wanted to make sure that they have the opportunity, if they choose, to be able to get the vaccine as well. So that's the first thing. Now, programming didn't stop because homelessness didn't stop. So we provided food. We wanted to make sure that people had the protective gear, masks, gloves. We wanted to do that, but also to get the information out. So we partnered with Howard University to make sure that people were informed and up to date about COVID. And then programming, we went from Zoom. We made sure people had computers, phones, so they can communicate. You can't communicate in COVID without this technology, so we have to put it in their hands.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's good news, and to know that. I mean, did you find that more young people were knocking on your door because of COVID? You know, because we know there's been a lot of, issues of, just within homes, abuse, different things that happened. Did it create a greater demand for your services?
Well, the demand is always there. We always could use more beds. Remember, we're trying to have a permanent situation. So we do have what we call emergency shelter. Folks are allowed to come to the shelter from 7 to 7. They can get a hot meal, they get their clothes washed, and then they can talk to case management. And so those numbers are going to fluctuate as people are kind of moving. Now that the movement is picked up, I would suspect that we're going to see more people reaching out for services, but also too in a greater need, because we help the whole region. We don't just say DC residents. If someone crosses that border from Maryland or Virginia and they're in need of services, we want to help them.
Wonderful, fantastic. So you're going to host a Juneteenth event tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
All right. So this came about our Juneteenth Black Paradigm, small businesses. We had some volunteers, some Black men who wanted to, they couldn't get involved with COVID come down. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to set up an event so they can bring small businesses together. In particular, they wanted to focus on technology, entrepreneurship, education, but also too networking. And they wanted these business owners to come together for the cause of helping the young people that we serve. And then this idea just kind of grew. So now it's going to be a big event. We're doing a lot of things on that day tomorrow. We're going to have vaccines inside of Covenant House. We'll have testing outside as well. We'll have the small businesses there for people to network. And we're going to, introduce some components around employment to help people gain access to employment and resources. So we're really excited. And this will be the first annual one.
All right. Okay. Now we're getting ready to start a whole new tradition here in DC.
That's right.
Not that we haven't celebrated Juneteenth. My daddy was a Texan, so
Okay.
he appreciated the day. But it's good to see that so many more people now are involved and creating events. But this event, it's not only just a celebration, but it sounds like you're providing a lot of services for people that need them.
Yes, I'm so happy that you gave us this platform, The Informer, because as many as your guests are going to talk about, there's a ton of events going on this day. So when you get the opportunity, just stop by the other events that are going on, because we want to make sure that there's enough people to serve and enough people need the information. Like I said, we're going to be talking to folks about workforce. We're going to be helping people network, and this will be one of many events. So we'll have a Poet Fest coming up in July as well, and so we're just excited to get people kind of networking, get them together, talk about the resources, but also the history and what Juneteenth means to not only people who are from DC, but people who are outside of DC as well.
Right. When did you first learn about Juneteenth?
Well, I'm originally from Houston, so
All right. Okay.
Juneteenth has been a big celebration. Depending on where you live is how they celebrate it, right? And what they do. So it involves food, it involves education, it involves storytelling, the history, and then moving forward. What are we planning to move forward? This Juneteenth, I'm excited that awareness is happening, but also too, I want some action and some policy behind some things and some opportunities. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it sounds like it. On the one hand, I think back about, when they talked about New Year's Eve and watch night, and how when folks knew about the passage of the Emancipation Proclamation and they knew that they would be freed the 1st of January, they said, Black folks stayed up all night because they wanted to see freedom come. But it took a while for Texans to do that. But still, it's that kind of a celebration. Today we are free, for whatever that means.
Right.
But also it's a celebration. So it sounds like we're going to have, back in the day, as kids, younger folks. You know, you go to the house parties, you go here, you go there. So it sounds like that's what you're saying too. Go to all of them, but make sure you stop by this address. Right.
Yes. I mean, let's, this is a great time. All the events is going on. There's an event going on in Anacostia Park, right? Stop by. Southeast is a vast area, and there's a lot of folks who could use services. And depending on your geographic location, you might be able to come to Covenant House 2001 Mississippi. You might be able to get over to Martha's Table if you're in that area, or Greater Southeast. So look at it as an opportunity to go and see what's in the community, see what's available. There's a lot of programming going on at Covenant House for the young kids. There's STEM. STEM is important. We want to make sure that our young people are on the cutting edge, dealing with innovative ways to deal with technology and to be a part of that. So stop by. It's a big house party that's going to start. We'll kick off at 10 o'clock sharp in Southeast. I hope to see a lot of folks there.
All right, Cliff, thank you so very much for joining us. And hopefully I'll get a chance to get by tomorrow as well and see you in person.
I look forward to it, Denise. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great one.
Okay.
Cliff also mentioned about all the celebrations, and he talked about Kim Ford with Martha's Table. And so we're happy to see, we had a pre-recorded interview with her. We're going to do a segment of that and just listen to what Martha's Table has planned for this weekend. Ford, thank you for joining us for Martha's Table. You all have been doing some fantastic work since you've come over to the Southeast community. Not that you didn't do it before, but we're very, very excited, that you are a neighbor and bringing such great programs, including what's coming up this weekend, which is your third annual Fathers to the Front Father's Day event. Tell us, how did you get the name and what does it mean?
Well, thanks so much, Denise. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and shout out to the Washington Forward. We're always so excited to have your support. Fathers to the Front Father's Day is one of our signature anchor events at Martha's Table. This is our third annual. Fathers to the Front, from anybody who's from DC like me, it's a play on it's a go-go term. They usually say ladies to the front, right? So it's fathers to the front, and it's meant to showcase those male caregivers in the front, to put them as the centerpiece, as in front, as leading, their children's lives. And again, male caregivers come in all forms and fashions, right? So that's dad, that's granddad, that's uncle, that's brother, that's pastor, that's mentor, that's coach. And so Fathers to the Front, the Father's Day event is our big celebration, but Fathers to the Front is actually a monthly convening of male caregivers, where the male caregivers come together amongst themselves and talk about things that are important and unique to them.
What has been your observation about the presence of Black male caregivers, particularly in the lives of children?
Well, this is why we're so adamant about Fathers to the Front and celebrating the male caregivers and supporting the male caregivers, because they are present. If you ever come to Martha's Table during drop off or pickup, both in Southeast and Northwest, at least half of who you see dropping off children and picking up children are males, those who identify as male. There are nasty stigmas out there. They are incorrect. To think that Black and brown males are not involved in their children's lives is absolutely incorrect. That is not what we see. And we see males who want to be more involved, who want to learn more, who want to do more. And that's, again, a part of the monthly programs that we do, some of which are actually in partnership with CYEP, which is the Capital Youth Empowerment Program, where, again, male caregivers are coming to the table voluntarily. This is important, voluntarily saying, I want to learn more about financial literacy or parenting skills, or, a co-parenting. It's a healthy co-parenting relationship.
You're going to have some great personalities celebrating with you at this event. It's on Saturday, right? So tell us about when it's going to take place and who are some of the folks that people can expect to see there.
So Fathers of the Front Father's Day is going to be at our headquarters, 2375 Elvins Road Southeast. All y'all know, just right up under the panorama room. That's where we are, from 12 to 4. It's going to be an amazing event, very family friendly. We're going to have petting zoo and pony rides. We've got basketball hoops. We've got, the thing that you hit, the mallet, and things fly up. And we've got all these games for the kids. A barbecue, complete cookout with all the greatest food from Marty's Catering, a male caregiver who makes some of the most amazing food in all of DC. And then, we go big. We go big. We've got EU with Sugar Bear, who's going to perform. Our host is Poet from 95.5 show. Shout out to Poet, who I know will also be honoring her father who recently passed. Our DJ for the event is DJ Quicksilver, 93.9, also a male caregiver. And so you even have different radio stations who are coming together. Why? Because they support the Black and brown male caregivers. We will be giving out gift cards to Giant Food. We appreciate them. We appreciate the sponsorship from Boeing.
Well, it's exciting that, the city's opened up now and people are coming out, and to come out for a great family affair, I think is fantastic.
Everything is at no cost: food, fun, and entertainment. We hope to see you there.
All right. And I know you join in and wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
So, as you can see, there's just a lot happening all over the city. We're talking about, as Cliff said, Anacostia Park, Covenant House on Mississippi Avenue, Martha's Table up on Elvins Road. And I'm sure that the list goes on and on. We have some of those places listed on our website at WashingtonInformer.com, on Facebook, and other places. But check out anything that's going on. I think this is one of those parties where, as my father used to say, lottie-dottie, and everybody is invited to come out and participate as we celebrate Juneteenth. So coming up now is Yadiya and Lily Wilson, who are going to talk to us about Mochella and the event that they're having on Father's Day this Sunday at St. Elizabeth's. Are we there? Are they there? Lily,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm definitely here. Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. It's probably been, well, we won't go there. As a former member of Union Temple Baptist Church,
Absolutely.
I probably know you since when, but here you are now talking to us about the event this weekend. Tell me, what is a Mochella, and what are folks going to expect on Sunday?
Well, Mochella is all about advocacy. It's about bringing the music into the movement, where we allow our voices to be heard. And Yadiya is the main one that is versed in speaking on that as the visionary. What I understand and what you've seen over the last year and a half or so is that it's a demonstration, and it's a very active demonstration powered by God, powered by positive energy, to bring light to the fact that go-go still lives, and to bring the protest to the people. A lot of times other people are advocating for us in our communities, and young people or those that feel like they don't have a voice are not very active. So this was a way to kind of bring the music to the movement and the movement to the music.
We didn't know really until late that the city was going to open up on June 11th. And fortunately, it did just in time for you all and your plans. But how long have you all been planning this event? And did you really, were you that confident that we were going to be able to do this big event, public event with folks coming together?
Yes, so very confident. When you're powered by God and powered by intuition and discernment, you're able to just forge ahead and trust. And that is based on, experience and in the movement through Mochella that has been happening for a while. Is something that you just have to be confident in what you're doing. So it's just something that we set out to do. And it hasn't been, what, 2 months, not even that, I don't think, where we decided to come together and do something for unity and bring the community out. If you notice, over the last year and a half or so, Mochella has been about going into like these pop-up areas, but now it's more stationary as we go into Unity Fest with other entities coming together and saying, this is something we want to make available to older, younger. So we had the kids haven going on and all of that so that everybody can be a part.
So Yadia's having technical difficulties. So you are the star of this segment right now.
Yes.
You have to carry the story.
Absolutely.
But you're doing great. And so give us the details. What, where, when, the time, all of that.
Yes, so at Gateway Pavilion over there at the St. Elizabeth's grounds on MLK Avenue in Southeast from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have all of these bands. And one thing that we wanted to do is not just have one stage with just the go-go bands, as Mochella has been typically known for. We wanted to kind of make it available to and accessible to people that like other kinds of music as well. So we have the what I call Wee Bridge stage. I'm told that it's not called that, but
it's all right. It's all right.
Yes, but I love calling it that because it to me it represents bridging things together. So we have the Wee Bridge stage, and there are local artists, rappers on there. We had the Kids Haven. So it's something that Mochella hasn't done before. And that's why we call it Unity Fest. All ages unite, community comes together as one.
Right. No, when we created WI Bridge, we figured it was going to be abbreviated, and we is fine because that you're right. It's all about bridging. It's all about us and we, and so I'm glad you all have made that connection. I'm glad Lafayette, the editor, and is all involved with that as well.
Shout out to him. Absolutely.
Yeah. But so, I mean, again, what is the message, Lily? What is it that when people come, I mean, it's a party, it's a celebration, and we're going to do a lot of celebrating beginning today through Sunday, of course, for Father's Day and Juneteenth. But what is the message for this besides, just a party and celebrating, the music? Is there something else that you think people should take away on that day?
Well, absolutely. We're calling it unity so that everyone can feel a part, so that young and old, if you want to advocate for better policies for our people, if you want to advocate for lower sentencing, whatever it is that we're advocating for as a community, it's like young and old, bring all of your concerns. And one thing that we're standing on is the shoulders of those who protested through music. So that's what it's about. It's about bringing another generation in, to say your voice matters. And it's not just about dancing, it's about making a statement. We've heard what Make Me Want to Holler, Throw Up My Hands, all kinds of soul music back in the day just talked about the plight. Well, this is not necessarily where, all of the bands are not, containing a certain message about the community. But when the community comes together, you're able to mobilize. And that's the main thing. And if you have to mobilize through music and captivate your audience first, that's what we're about.
I think back to your dad, Reverend Willie Wilson, pastor of Union Temple Baptist Church, when you all were in the red building, the red church, and they had the, what was it, the Chitlin Strut?
Yes, Chitlin Strut, Chicken Stroll, absolutely.
Yeah, Chicken Stroll that started many, many years ago, and that evolved, into Unifest, which was a wonderful, wonderful event. And now, this is the evolution of that. And the next generation picking up the ball and moving it forward. How did you all get together?
So we got together because we all have similar passions. And of course, I stand on the shoulders of those who created Unifest, and I watched it manifest, and I actually worked and volunteered so many years. And then I saw what Mochella was doing, and Yadia, and Chloe and Lafayette, and all of us came together, and Wayne, and all of us came together, and we started talking about the histories but how we could move forward. And it's just a beautiful thing when great minds get together, and that's what we're hoping to create, something that pushes the community forward in a way that has not been seen, but still honors those that came before.
So it comes on Sunday, and then what happens next?
So what happens next? You'll have to wait for that. You'll have to wait because, this is something that Mochella hasn't done before, bringing the different stages together. So it's just kind of like, just getting our feet wet and just seeing what happens. And then
Wonderful.
you'll have to stay tuned.
Lastly, I think the great thing about DC music, and like you said, it's everybody knows DC is go-go, right? That's just the brand that we have proudly, and that we proudly carry. But there's also other kinds of music and other kinds of artists, and DC is really kind of picking up when it comes to promoting local artists and putting our stamp on the national or international music scene. And so for some of the artists, I mean, can you mention some of them that will be participating?
Absolutely. We have EU featuring Sugar Bear. We have Junkyard. We have Ambition. I don't want to get in trouble by calling too many names, but just to give you some examples, we got Pinky, Killer Corn, D Floyd. It's just something that you'll have to experience. But you can check out the flyer that's been posted, and you could go to Instagram and check us out there, and it's comprehensive list is there.
Fantastic. Well, Lily, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this information. It looks like it's going to be. And so if you don't have plans for Father's Day, take your dad out to the Gateway Pavilion at St. Elizabeth's and have a wonderful time. Have fun.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Again, an exciting weekend. So much going on. So many places. And, I mentioned Father's Day. And as I said earlier, we checked with 100 Black men. They've been with us this month as we celebrate Black men for the whole month of June. And fortunately, we've had them every Friday. Someone from 100 Black Men of Greater Washington with us every Friday. And they will be with us through the end of the month. But we asked them, as I said before, to recommend someone we can talk to who, if there was a Father of the Year title, this person would be deserving of this title. Well, I am pleased now to introduce to you Lou Brown, a member of 100 Black Men of Greater Washington, D.C. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, congratulations. You're not wearing the crown, but it looks like you deserve it.
I appreciate that.
So tell us, Lou, tell us the story. Why do you think that you were selected as the person that should have the Father of the Year award?
Well, first of all, again, thanks for having me. It is an honor and privilege to be a member of the 100 Black Men of Greater Washington, D.C. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm all in and hands-on as far as fatherhood goes. I actually had the privilege of being honored as the high school Father of the Year in the county that I live back in 2019. And really, it's about showing up and being present and doing all that you can to be.
Which county is that? I'm sorry.
Prince George's County, Maryland.
Okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I was president of the Parent-Teacher-Student Organization for 2 years. Again, just doing what I can to be present and to make a meaningful impact, not only for my children, but for other children in the community.
So tell us a little bit about your children.
So we have three. My wife and I have a 19-year-old daughter who's in college, a 17-year-old son in high school, and a 13-year-old son in middle school.
Fantastic. I didn't say Happy Father's Day to you in the beginning, and I really should have. But, parenthood or fatherhood is not, and motherhood as well. I mean, it's not something that, as my mother used to say, you can pick up a book and see the rules and the guide. It just comes from somewhere. And so where did it come from for you?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Every day I wake up looking for that instruction manual. I haven't found it yet. I think there's two things that I would point to. Number one, the example that I saw within, my household growing up. My mother, very communicative. My dad, not so much, but they were an excellent sort of partner together. Dad a great provider, and my mom always on us, wanting us to do the right thing. So I think I took from that example, and then within my own family, wanting to be present, wanting to show the right example, and then again, like you mentioned, there's no instruction manual, so just doing the best that you can to navigate through that journey.
Sometimes I think back and I often wonder, what are the hardest years? We talk about, newborns, we talk about the terrible twos, which I think last until they're 40. But, and then teen years, can be tough as well. For you as a dad, I mean, now you have teens and one going to college. But so far, has there been sort of the brightest moments or the toughest moments of being a father?
Sure. Let's start with the brightest moments. Some of the brightest moments really are watching that growth and development. You pour so much into your children and you don't always know what the outcome might be. It's like planting seeds in the ground, right? It takes a while to really see what that might look like. And some of the brightest moments are really when having the opportunity to see how the world is receiving your children. So whether that be, performing at a piano recital, or if they're part of a student club and you see them maybe giving a speech on stage, or just a social interaction, and seeing the poise that they demonstrate really helps you see the fruits of your labor. Some of the toughest moments are probably when you have to have those tough conversations around either something that they did or an experience that they had. And certainly there have been, as we all know, very challenging conversations in our country writ large, right? I think it's fitting that we're talking here on Juneteenth. So if you just think through some of the tough moments that they might have in school or with tough conversations, really just helping them through that is part of fatherhood.
Interesting. And so with that, what advice would you give to, there are two types of fathers I want you to give advice to if you have it. And one is to a new father.
So to a new father, the advice that I would give is to be present. Be fully present in every aspect of your child's life and through all stages of life, be they newborns or in school or making their way, almost out of school into college. There's an assumption that many men are just not involved or not wanting to be involved, and don't flow with that assumption. Be present, because even the data shows that, especially when you talk about young Black boys, what makes the difference in their lives and success is the presence of a Black male in their life. So be present in all aspects, and you never know what they'll pick up from your example. So just show your best self.
So that takes me to the next question. For those fathers who have not been present and don't know how to make their way back, is there something that you think, some words that you could give them about how to get there?
I would say first look within and be honest about the situation that prohibited you from being as engaged as you want. And once you sort of come to terms with that, my advice would be to just, approach your child with honesty and acknowledge the past situation, and, just be really genuine about that desire to move forward in a more positive direction with that relationship. Life is short. Nothing is promised to us, be it health or anything else. And so I think just approaching with that genuine spirit is the place to start.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I don't know your wife, and so I can't call her to tell her, but what would be your perfect Father's Day gift?
Thank you. I'm a simple guy with simple tastes. So this might sound cliche, but, all I need is a big old piece of quiet on Father's Day. No, but seriously, love spending time together as a family. There's so much happening this weekend. So perhaps just quality time taken in one of these wonderful Juneteenth events happening this weekend.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so it's not a favorite food. You don't want to cook you anything. You don't have to go out for brunch. The fathers always say, that Mother's Day cards go like that. Father's Day cards, there are thousands of them still on the shelves. I think that's changing. But are those important to you, to
Oh, trust me.
Events? If
it comes my way, I'll take it. Hey, the special meal, the special breakfast, some nice cards, will not turn that away in the least. No, I'm fortunate to have a loving wife. We've been married for 23 years. and the great, wonderful children. So if it comes my way, certainly accepting it all.
Well, I'm going to start off by just wishing you a wonderful, happy Father's Day. I hope it's more than what you expected. It sounds like you're deserving not only from your family, but also your peers who recognize the great dad that you are. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
All righty. Thank you. So, boy, we're going to keep this ball rolling. That was great, because we do recognize the fact that not everybody, not all fathers can be the fathers that they want to be. And I think what we learned from Lou is that, just try to be the father that you wanted to have, the father that you wanted to have in your life, and to sort of, fulfill that commitment. And it's never too late. It is never too late. But joining us now, talking about fathers, is Stuart Anderson, who is a community organizer. People in Ward 8 know him just like they know to sign Martin Luther King, because he's one of the we work shotgun together on the MLK parade, and Stuart does a whole lot in the Ward 8 community and outside of the community. But this time he's here to talk to us about the Black Fathers Matter motorcade. Welcome to the show, Stuart.
Hey, Denise, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show and hang out with you. You're one of my favorite people to hang out with. And thank you for that gracious introduction.
Yeah, so tell us, what is this Black Fathers Matter motorcade? I know this is the second year, and it sounds like we're gonna lock down the city. People are trying to go to Juneteenth celebrations or go to brunch, are going to end up riding in a motorcade.
I don't want them to know that it's my fault that they get caught up and they go somewhere where they didn't want to go. But too often fathers are not. And this, y'all have talked about it all during the show so far, about how fathers are kind of on the back burner. And so I've often said that part of the issues that we have in our communities and in our families is because fathers are not acknowledged as they should be. Fatherhood is not lifted up as is motherhood, and y'all have done a great job of saying that. And so what we've been doing, even before the motorcade, we were doing things to honor fathers, hanging out with Chuck Hicks and Frank Smith up the African American Civil War Museum. There would normally be some kind of an activity people would come to, and we'd talk about some historical icons that were fathers. And so the pandemic came, and everybody was like, well, we can't do that this year. Guess we won't do anything. And then Chuck said, Stu, what can we do? I said, I don't know. We do a motorcade. He said, oh, yeah. And the next thing I know, we're like a week out and we doing a motor. How we going to do it? So we pulled it together during the pandemic, during 2020. It was so successful that even though the mayor has opened up the city, and we're glad that she opened up the city, the members of the little committee said, we should still do our motorcade. I said, okay, here we go. So I had to get the map together, get a route together. And so it's all to really, we believe that if we encourage fatherhood, if we lift fatherhood up, if we put fatherhood out there, our younger fathers and some of our fathers who are trying to reconnect will want to do that. They'll want to get that stroking of fatherhood, if you will. So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to inspire fatherhood.
You got a lot of symbols. I know last year you had the posters, the Black Fathers Matter poster. When our editor comes on, I mean, those posters are still being displayed in households and windows all over the city, which was a good move. But you also have these black balloons and the ribbons. What are those symbols of?
So we have the big banners that say Black Fathers Matter, Black Lives Matter, all over this route, all over the city. We've got like about 12 of them. So you ride by, you know that the motorcade is coming this way. But those smaller signs, and they never stop asking for them.
Exactly.
I didn't get T-shirts. We got to get T-shirts because they keep asking me. I had this T-shirt on, and people was like, "Where'd you get the T-shirt? Are you the only one? How can I get one?" I don't know. I couldn't remember where I got. But the signs, right? I want to jump up and go get one. They are on my porch, right? 1,000 of them, and those signs will be spread all along the route, and we'll give them to people as we're putting them out there tonight. But those signs are to help us elevate and motivate. The balloons is about Black people. So that's why we put those balloons out there. They are symbolic of Black people all over the place. And the ribbons were, you know what you do with a ribbon, right? You tie stuff.
I used to put them in my hair.
Yeah, you tie your hair, right? Because you want what? You want your hair to be bunched up together.
Oh,
So
kind of sort of like
ribbons,
it is now.
There it is. Those ribbons are about tying Black folk together.
Right. I got you. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, you found one. Okay, yeah. So we got 1,000 of them on my front porch right now. And as soon as my team comes out of training with the mayor, man, I'm going to beg some of them to help me put them all along the route. And they'll be all over.
This is wonderful. And we're gonna do whatever we can too to help distribute if there's any left over, because we had some here and people would come by and say, can I get a sign? Can I get a sign? So I mean, I think it definitely makes a difference. It serves a very strong message. How can people get involved in the motorcade?
So if you want to get involved in motorcade, all you have to do is join us up at, I want to say 1920, but if I say this, it won't be wrong. Right there, Vermont and U Street, Vermont and S Street. If you come there at 11 o'clock on Sunday, June 20th, the actual day of celebrating fathers, we're going to have this motorcade and we're going to assemble there, and you can come get some Ben & Jerry's ice cream with me on the Black Motorcade Committee. And we're going to meet right there. We're going to dress up vehicles. Oh, I didn't tell you. And we're going to have African Heritage drummers on a flatbed.
All right.
Different. We're adding to this thing.
So you're going from there to where?
So we will start in Ward 1. We will go down Florida Avenue into Ward 5. We're going to loop up around up West Virginia, down Mount Oliver, because we want to make sure that we're expanding this piece a little bit at a time, getting more people involved. Then we'll circle around, go 17th, go straight out Benning Road, and we will go into Ward 7. We're going to come straight down Minnesota Avenue. And it's going to be so, because people follow this thing. I mean, they walk alongside of it for a few blocks, then another group of people come, and it seemed like there's a whole bunch of people going with it. Y'all walked all the way here, but that's what it looks like.
Well, I drove through the city trying to find you all last week, and I knew where I was near because there were always people out there with signs or something. I'm like, okay, they're near. And you're going to end where?
And we will end here in Ward 8 at the Big Chair. Okay. And so we're going to end right there. We normally go to the Rise, but Mochella done trumped us. They Mochella kicked us to the curb. And so at the 9th hour, Stu got to find a new location. So we're going to end the procession right there at the Big Chair. We should be there. And you know I'm a stickler for ending on time. 2 o'clock is the end time. So we're going to try to get there at 2 o'clock. And when we get there, the celebration is not over. The motorcade just ends.
I got
because you. UPO is going to be out there, a number of other healthcare providers, somebody from DBH, mental health people will be out there. And I'm currently working with Steve Walker with the mayor's office, EOM, to try to get the vaccine mobile unit to be right there on W Street so that people at the end of the procession who haven't been vaccinated, because this is the theme of this piece, the host of this piece is fatherhood, but this is the get the shot effort. We're trying to get people to get the vaccine. We want to make sure we're doing our job to suppress the COVID pandemic by encouraging people to get the vaccine.
So Stuart, we're running out of time, but I have one question that I want to ask you. I know that your organization personally, is the what is it? Tell me the name of it, because I just got brain freeze.
Family and Friends of Incarcerated People.
Family and Friends of Incarcerated People.
Yes.
And you were, if you don't mind me saying, of course, were incarcerated for a period of time. You were away from your children, but you continued the connection. Talk about that for a minute and how you were able to maintain that and still be a part of your children's lives.
So in fact, at Union Temple, at the same time that I will be doing this motorcade, they're going to be honoring me as the father of the year or something. I said, well, I'm going to send some of my fathers. I can't be there because fatherhood is so important. When I went to prison, I was serving 45 years real quick, right? My youngest child was born while I was in prison. And I just vowed that I was going to stay involved in their life some kind of way. If they house me on the moon, I'm going to do something to be actively involved in their lives. And so I met people along the way. You know, Tyrone Parker, Rico Russ, and the Alliance of Concerned Men, individuals, Justin and Heidi Brooks from Georgetown. That's when it started. Family Literacy Project we created together. Then it went to the Concerned Fathers piece under Tyrone Parker and them, and that didn't work out. I ran it, and Jordan, Carl Finley, and we began to work with Hope House. So I just kept trying to stay connected with somebody outside that could keep me connected physically with my children. But I have my children's, their mothers, they are great women, and they worked to have that relationship as strong as it could possibly be. They did everything in their power. They went out of their way to make sure I had the access to them. Even when they themselves were mad with me, they would say, "You can take them, I'm not going." And so that's how it's been. And right now, today, all of my children, they help me with family and friends of incarcerated people. They do different things. We're going to do our biggest event. And I got a shameless shout out. August 21st, y'all got to come down 4,000 blocks. Livingston Road. Got to come down there. Bring your children. I'll get 400 book bags.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But one of the things I know, I have seen the evidence. I know your children love you, your daughters adore you, and so I just wanted to make sure that we had that conversation too, as a father, because fathers come in all different shapes, sizes, and experiences. And
I did these one quick thing. I tried to get one of them to come out of a meeting that I set up for her, right? Because she done created Diamond Cubs. I wanted to get her on the radio. She like, I'm in a meeting. You can't come down here like that. I'm working.
Yes.
Radio though. And she wasn't having it.
Next time. Stuart, thank you so much. And thanks for sharing about the Black Fathers Matter motorcade. Hopefully folks will see you on Sunday. We'll be out there and have a great event, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. If you stand on Florida Avenue, you'll never miss us.
I love Stuart. So anyway, I mean, he's got a lot of energy and helps to really support programs and to make them happen. He's a great community worker, as they say. But, you know, now I'm really, really honored to bring the fathers of the Washington Informer. Oh, that's beautiful, Chevy. Yes, we have Will Ford, Camille Harris, Kevin McNair, Lafayette Barnes, and I hope we have Roy Lewis as well. I'm not sure. Roy wasn't able to join us. So we've got those fathers. Can we bring them on?
All right. Hey.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Thank you.
Y'all are looking good. Oh, we do have Roy.
Yes,
okay.
Roy.
All
All
right.
right.
Fantastic.
Big brother.
So I guess my first question, I mean, it's so much, and we don't want to make the time go short, but I want to start with you, Lafayette. I want to ask you, first of all, and I got to do this, you know, what was your most memorable gift you received for Father's Day?
Oh my God, Denise, that's a heavy question. You know, let me say this. I've received so many memorable gifts, including, I don't know whether you can see this or not, but this is a portrait that Denise and my son Desmond actually painted for me last Father's Day. So that's one of them. So you can see the artistic work in this portrait, these portraits here that were given to me last Father's Day. But having said that, you know, to be honest, I think the most memorable gift that I received is the gift of family fellowship. You know, God the Father has been very good to me and blessing with a great family. I have a beautiful daughter, Nefertiti Williams, who's the oldest child. She lives in Atlanta. Her husband, Rodney, and my two grandsons, Caden and Zarin. Of course, most of you know about my two sons. You remember that TV show with the 2 feet used to flap ball? My two sons, my three sons. So I got two.
Three sons.
I got two. Lafayette, the fourth, and Desmond, Rolark Barnes. And of course, part of the family, it wouldn't be a family without my lovely wife, Denise Rolark Barnes. So I've been blessed. I also want to say that in terms of my family, you know, I got to give a shout out to my dad, his father and Dr. Calvin Rollard, because even though they're with the ancestors now, they're still very much a part of our family, and they continue to guide us. And I'm just so proud to have a family like that. So yes, I think if I looked at all of the things that I received, and even though the portraits that you and Lafayette and Desmond gave me last year are right at the top, I think I really got to go with the family that I've been given by God. And thank you so much for that.
So thank you. So Kevin, I'm going to move on to you. And I want to know, I mean, you two are a dad, you're a granddad, as a matter of fact, just like Lafayette. Right. But what advice, what is the best advice you've given to your children?
I always tell my children to figure out what your playground looks like, especially my youngest, my son, who's getting ready to start his master's degree in September at Northwestern. I tell them to understand what it is you want about life and who you feel you are, what boundaries you have. And I say about your playground, because sometimes we confront people and they want us to do things we shouldn't do, and we want to go certain ways. We haven't thought about it. We haven't prayed about it. We haven't asked for God to give us a sign of confirmation, because we don't understand our playground, our yeses, our nos, our boundaries. And I think that's helping me. It's still helping me. I'm still shaping that. So that's what I tell my kids all the time, and they listen most of the time. Not all the time, but I didn't need it. I was hard-headed. I was the only child. So I love the fact that they come to me when they do well, and they feel comfortable coming to me when they know they haven't done well. And I try to be, just like Jesus says, unconditionally, come on back home. My mother did that for me all the time. I messed up. She would say, I don't care what you say about him. That's my baby. Come on in, baby. She closed the door, and I'm good. So that's what I try to do.
Kevin, you have 2 children, right?
Yes, Jasmine, she's 31, and Jared is 27. And then I have a grandson, Jordan is 17, and Jackson is 7.
All right. Yeah. The legacy continues.
Yes.
Hamil, let me ask you, I mean, how has fatherhood touched your life? I know you have 2 children as well. 4. Well, okay. So we got to sit back and listen to the to the lives of the 4 Harris kids. But tell us about your children. But how fatherhood has impacted your life. We need you to unmute yourself, Emil.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's humbled me, because I have my 30-year-old Zaria, my 23-year-old Alicia, and Alana is 19. Isaiah is 14. And even now, like my 2 oldest, two of my daughters in New York right now, and they didn't get there at 3:30 in the morning on that bus. And I couldn't sleep because I want to know, are my kids okay? My son is across the street. And so when I first started, I was married, and for 24 years, a beautiful person, Tanya. But then, I got divorced, and I became, the custodial parent. And we worked together as a team, but there was times where you had to be dad. And that's one of the reasons why I left the Washington Post full time and left most of my jobs full time, because most of the time I'm right here at the house, and I sit at the bottom of the steps to see who's going, I can see all my doors at the same time, because I'm always trying to figure out, okay, who does, like Isaiah's across the street. But when I first started this show, I didn't know where Isaiah was. And then I had to do he's right across the street. And he's out there. So again, it's humility. And it's just, every day is a challenge. And, it ain't been easy, but it's been very rewarding.
That's fantastic. And I know, Will, I think you have one of the youngest of children among this group. You're the newbie among these folks. And so can you tell us kind of what the experience has been like for you and what it's like to raise a daughter?
Well, because I'm a newbie and I haven't heard that phrase in a few years, being I'm 47 now. And what's strange is having a 6-year-old and a 19-year-old Yeah, it's a unique dynamic, especially the age differential. And having a little girl, yeah, it changed my psyche so much where my uncle would say, she's going to be the first man she fall in love with, so you better do right and act right, talk right, eat right, stand up right, all these rights that's into it. And it really made me have to stand up straight, literally. But one thing I'm glad for, and when my son was born, he was born in Pennsylvania, at St. Luke's Hospital. I was working for the morning call at the time. One thing I just changed is my vocabulary. I literally just changed right overnight because I'm making sure he's not going to sound foolish. He's not going to act foolish. He's not going to be foolish, especially where I was living up in Pennsylvania. Puerto Ricans are the minority coming from New York City and Philadelphia. Many blacks. So I'm making sure you're going to stand up straight and you're going to act right, because then you'll have to deal with me. And he don't want me to embarrass him in public.
Well, I've never known anybody, well, I guess I have, but still in recent years, who was more proud, looked more proud than you when you sent your son off to college. Did you cry?
I did. Before he left. I get choked up thinking about it now, because not many folks in my family got to be able to get that opportunity. And being that both him and my wife and I, we went to school. Even if he didn't, make sure you have a trade, you do something. Because, buddy, you're going to contribute in this house with your hands, feet, or your brains. It's one of those three. There's no in between. So he chose his brain, and I'm very thankful for it. So thankful for it.
Well, that's a wonderful thing, because we could see it all over the place. Your head couldn't even come through the front door because you were so proud. We congratulate you. And Roy, gosh, I mean, you have been down this fatherhood road a lot longer than everyone else here. And you are also a grandfather. I don't know if you've gotten to great grand yet, but tell us, what fatherhood and being sort of, the man in the family has meant to you.
Well, it's let's just say everybody's talking about your life change. It definitely does. The other piece I think that we're talking about now is this is a whole different period, like 40, 50 years ago, a child coming into that environment, totally different today than a child coming into this environment. A lot of different kind of issues. We were concerned about influences that parents don't have to be concerned about. Parents concerned about now because you've got more influences, outside influences. And so for me, it was like, okay, what are you going to be doing to be a part of what was going on then? The Black Power movement, the historic stuff that was going on then. And so I had my children. I didn't have my children, but I mean, I was the father of the children pretty fast. 3 children in 4 years, and so that's quite a bit. And that puts you into a whole nother kind of piece. And I try to be involved in their life at all levels. I think a lot of fathers sometimes miss the boat when they don't be involved when the kids are really young, babies. You got to really be there because it establishes a relationship with your children early, which means that, it's a different kind of relationship when you are there. When, I had 2 children in diapers at the same time. And so that's a whole nother experience that a lot of people don't have to deal with now because of the diaper experience and the kind of things that were going on as they were growing up. I made sure that they were involved. I actually took them on assignments with me sometime. And so that means that they are involved in your work. They understand what your work is about. And a lot of my work also was about, like, okay, when they are studying this period, they're going to want to, where were you? What were you doing during this period?
So that that is, I mean, has taken us full circle, because we could really have this conversation for hours. And there's so many, I mean, no two fathers are alike, no two children are alike, no two experiences are alike. But I think we do share certain feelings. And one of the things that I want you all to share with me, and I'm gonna start with you, Roy, is if you can remember, same question I asked Lafayette, but I'm gonna add a caveat to it, is, what was your favorite or most memorable Father's Day gift? And how would you like to spend this Father's Day? I know you might be working, but because you talked about work, that's your theme, but I'll start with you, and then I'll go backwards.
Most memorable Father's Day. I was thinking about that when Lafayette was talking about it. What I think that the most important thing is, like, when you have healthy children. I mean, and since I have a single parent, for a lot of years, whenever your child does something, graduate, get through an experience, it always is your high point. In other words, you're almost like, when the children come in, it's like a certain part of your life no longer continues, and so you are dealing with their success, how well they're doing, they're succeeding, and then their understanding of what you're doing or trying to do in their lives, and being there to support them whenever you can, whenever they need you.
And how would you like to celebrate, or are you doing anything special this Father's Day?
Well, so far, no. I mean,
Okay.
I will be working. I will be seeing them, but there is no plan right now.
That you know of. Okay.
No, that I know of. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Will, I'm gonna go to you.
Probably my most memorable Father's Day, well, besides the first, is probably last year, because we were all in this pandemic, and I got a card from both children. My son wrote, "Happy Father's Day, OG," and my baby girl said, "I love you, Daddy." That there hit it right there. That to no end. Boom, I was straight. And what I have planned, I think they want to take me to church. I think that's a message. I don't know what that means, but just go with it. And then nothing. I went to have about 3 hours blocked in when I'm in the room. I'm watching TV. Maybe some sports on. They catch them. Knowing me, I'll probably watch some sports. That's it.
Or
Very
let the
simple.
sports watch you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think about, your interview last week with Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, who said, all I want is some fried chicken and to be left alone. Hamil, how about you?
I just want to say, take 10 of my seconds. I'm on the phone. I'm sorry, my son now tripping. But we're with the most dynamic group of fathers I know. And I'm not just saying it because of the show. I don't know how many times I say, "Hey, I got a story for you." And I say, okay, he must be going somewhere with his kids. But the kids, I'm a better father because of Will always talking about his kids. And then I think about Kevin, and he's always, if I need some help, we fuss. But if I need some money or something, I'm going to Kevin, because Kevin don't know how to stop giving. I'm serious. And that's like, we like Archie and Bronco or whatever. And then Lafayette, he's just so calm and stable and stuff. And then Roy this week, Roy gonna call you. Don't take my phone too far. Roy, he gonna call you in the middle of the night. It's okay, I gotta go. You can't talk. But then he'll take you places. And he's a long time ago, Roy, he would take photos and tear them up and give him his business cards. And we always talk about the conventions. We were together this week. So that's been my best Father's Day. But also my kid on this Sunday, I'm going to the mountains because my daughter is a camp counselor and she's 19. And like, she'll tell you, she got a Camry. Her car better than mine. She said, but you're my daddy and you're going to take me. And I'm like, she always said, and so to me, I just love it. And last thing, I know I'm talking too much, but my dad was a journalist. And the proudest day of my life, he was NBC, network, covered Kennedy, and he retired. He's an actor too. But now my daughter, Alicia, is a journalist and nominated for an Emmy Award, And now the little mama, I call her little mama, Alana, she act like she want to go into journalism. I'm like, why y'all going into this, And it just means so much, But I thank God for these brothers in this room that lift me up. We gonna fuss. Everyone, I don't think I have a fuss with love yet. And maybe we'll a little bit, but thank you, brothers.
All right. Thanks a lot, Emil. We're gonna move on to Kevin.
I forgot the question.
Yeah, I know.
You tell me all the time. Okay, we'll get to the question.
Right. I can't cut folks off because this is so special, but favorite Father's Day gift and what you plan to do, if anything, to celebrate Father's Day on Sunday. Or what would you like to do for you on Sunday?
Well, actually, I'm going to a Word of Faith church in Gaithersburg. I was in Boston Market. I got lazy, so I go and buy 4 or 5 meals at Boston Market. Put in the refrigerator now, so I don't have to cook on weekends. And I'm going over there because they have a Father's Day service on Saturday, but Sunday is going to be the first time they've come back to church. And I really need to be in the place where I can dance and shout and do all the things I like doing in church. Because I've done it at home too much with my dogs. I think I need to be with some people. I guess my favorite, I don't know if I've had a favorite Father's Day. Father's Day was depressing to me for a long time because my dad died when I was 25 and he died right before Father's Day. And so I never won. In fact, it was Father's Day weekend. So my mother died July 4th. My dad died Father's Day weekend. I've never wanted to celebrate on those holidays and places. I kind of went inside in my little funk. And my kids finally forced me to come out. My ex-wife, you can't do that to them. It's not their fault. And my son called me yesterday. He said, Daddy. When he says Daddy, I know something getting ready to happen because he's too macho. Dad. I was like, dude, calm it down. But he says, Daddy. I said, he said, I mailed your Father's Day card, but the mail is really slow. So please don't be upset if you don't get it by Father's Day, but call me as soon as it comes because I mailed your card and I should have done it too. And he went on and on. I said, Jared, thank you for telling me. I said, okay, now you can go back to Dad. Dad, yeah, I'm Dad, got it. And so I guess in terms of what I'm looking forward to, I'm just looking forward to the mail whenever it comes because I'm very tangible, as you know. I don't like print online. I don't like print, So even with my cards, don't tell me Dad's going to text, mail me something. And I'm looking forward to the mail and the calls, and we'll do Facebook Live. And I'm going to go to church and see some other fathers have a good time. And I'll have a good time because I'm with some other fathers.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Lafayette, we talked a little bit about, your favorite gift and what it's meant to you. But I just want to close if you just have some advice, like we asked Stuart earlier. I mean, what kind of advice would you give to either a new father or any father?
Two quick things. And thank you, Denise, for the opportunity, of course. But I want to close by saying, I want to quote Exodus 20:12, and it says, honor your father and your mother. Mm-hmm. Then you will live a long and full life in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. And I want to present that to all of the fathers. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do on Father's Day. I'm going to watch NBA basketball. I hope that the Sixers beat the Hawks. I like that.
Oh, well, that gives me a day. Yeah. All right, thank you.
It's a late game, so we can still, take care of some other
all right. Okay. I'm worse than your son, Kevin. I haven't sent the card yet, but I got one.
Okay, all right.
and God bless all the fathers.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
I
Can
really
somebody take the
appreciate
picture
this.
of this? I like this. I want to say this.
Happy Father's Day. Sherry's going to do that now. Thank you all. Thanks for all that you do
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank
community, for the Washington Informer, and for your own families. We appreciate you.
We
I
love
didn't know
you.
we had. I
Denise.
didn't know we
Love
had to
you.
get dressed up, Denise, with Lafayette. See, normally me and Lafayette. First of all, people say we look like we came from the same place. We kind of do resemble.
You do.
Hey,
But yeah, and that's a good thing. But
we got to do our DNA, man.
I know it, but I didn't get dressed up. I got my Detroit versus everybody shirt on today.
That's
You
all
look
right. That works.
Put my,
That works.
I tip my collar like Lafayette and look strong.
All right, y'all. I
Roy's
got to
my
go.
man. Roy's
All
my
right,
man.
love
See
y'all.
y'all
See
later.
ya.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Roy. Oh, that was fun. That was so much fun. So we have one more thing we want to share with you. This program has gone long, so thank you so much for staying with us. For those who have, we're going to talk about the person who is like the barbecue, who's won the barbecue award with the barbecue battle here, and sponsored by Giant Food here in Washington, D.C. It was a pleasure to talk to him. We're going to bring him up. And then right after that, we're going to go to WI Bridge, or as they say, We Bridge. Sounds of the DMV and what's happening in DC with the media prints. And I think after that, Chevry, I'm just going to sign off right now, but stay tuned for what's coming up next. And we will see you right here next Friday, same place, same time. Bring a friend. Talk to you later. And happy Father's Day and happy Juneteenth.
You know, Giant's the big sponsor for the National Barbecue Battle. And last year we went virtual, of course, because of the virus. And we're also going to be virtual this year also. They got a website, bbqdc.com. They got a lot of concerts that's going to be on there. They got a lot of virtual events and contests that people can sign up for and do them virtually. I'll be doing some judging. And so this year, hopefully next year in 22, we'll get to come back live on Pennsylvania Avenue. But right now, through the whole month of June, we'll be going virtual.
So how are you going to judge barbecue virtually? How does that work?
Well, you're just going to have to use your eyes and just look at the moisture of the meat and the color, and more about the presentation. It's going to be about me actually getting to taste it. We're just making do with what we can do right now. You know, while we're doing the stuff virtual, while I believe they just didn't feel comfortable letting all those people. You talk about 100,000 people.
Oh yeah.
Come down at one time down on Pennsylvania Avenue. So maybe by next year this time, we'll be ready to go and won't have to do all this virtual stuff.
Since so many people have become vegetarians these days, or they're not eating meat, or they're not eating chicken, or, you know, pork, or what have you, what's your response as far as the best barbecue that's a non-meat barbecue that you make?
Well, the thing is, you're asking the wrong one that question because everything I cook is real meat.
What about
I don't do
fish? You don't do any fish?
Yeah, I do fish, but that's meat too. A true vegan ain't gonna eat
That's
fish
true.
either.
You're right. You're right. So what's your favorite fish to barbecue?
I love to do, being from South Georgia down here, and I love a lot of them, but I love to do the catfish fillets, grill them all. I also like doing mullet. I love mullet. Salmon steaks, if you can get them really, really thick, because that's the key to doing a great salmon, is having it thick. I don't like them thin because they're overcooked on you too fast.
Right.
Always, if you're going to do salmon steaks, you want to cook them really thick. Well, the thing is, the barbecue battle, the Giant National Capital Barbecue Battle, again, I'll say it, we had to go virtual, and it's still an enjoyable experience. I mean, a lot of time and effort has been put into this. Again, go to bbqdc.com. And the thing about it is, a lot of the proceeds and things that we're doing is going to USO Metro, which is a great cause. The USO is, we do a lot of things, special events at our restaurant part at Myron Mixon Pitmaster Barbecue there in Alexandria. And, you know, you can still have a great time. Again, like I said a while ago, we got a lot of concerts that are on there. They got a lot of virtual games. They got a lot of virtual contests that participants can sign up for and get on there and have their meat judged. You know, barbecue's barbecue. It's a very social food. I know we miss them being down on that street, Pennsylvania Avenue, one of the probably most iconic streets are in the world. But we'll be back next year. But until we can get back next year, we can make it happen virtual. It ain't that bad. I mean, it ain't as good as sitting there smelling that smoke and eating that barbecue, but seeing one another, enjoying barbecue at their own home, that'll get us by to next year.
So that should be a note I'm going to end on, but I just thought about one other thing. You said your dad taught you this. What is the age of your oldest grill?
The age of my oldest grill? Probably 48 years old.
Wow.
I'm 59. So I still got some things that belong to him.
Wow, nice. You still use it?
Oh yeah, still use it.
Wonderful. And how many grills do you have?
How many do I have? I build smokers for a living too. I got a smoker division. We build smokers in Connecticut.
Oh my!
So I got a yard full of grills.
Wow.
Let me just show you something right here. Just hold steady.
Okay.
You see right behind me?
Oh wow! Yes.
You see over there?
Oh yeah. That's serious.
So I got smokers everywhere. That's just out here at my compound where I do the classes at.
Yeah.
We got a warehouse full of them. So if you decide you want to jump in there and get more proficient at being a barbecue or be a pit master, you let me know and I can get you a smoker sent up there.
All right. Okay. I like that, man. I figured you had. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I tell people all the time, not many people get to make a living doing what they love, and I love barbecuing.
All right. With that, I'm going to say goodbye.
It's your boy, the Media Prince, and I want to welcome you to What's Going On DC. I want to welcome you back to What's Going On DC. Welcome you back to What's Going On DC. I want to welcome you back to What's Going On DC. What's going on? What's going on DC? Welcome to our 20th episode. You have been with us for this epic ride, DC. So like any other week, let's get started with the top trending news of the area. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. I am the Media Prince, your purveyor of all things DC, Maryland, PA, and Waldorf. Let's get started. First up, Maryland. You are free. Governor Hogan just lifted the Maryland state of emergency for COVID-19. Hey, get back here. We still got more trending topics to talk about. Congratulations goes to DC's own Jeffrey Tribble Jr., former CEO of the Whammies. Well, just announced that he had the new CEO position of Levine Music this past week. Congratulations. Next king making waves in the DMV is DMV's own comedian APAP, or shall we say actor Samar Mitchell, who is currently on set with D. Michael Ealy and BJ Britt. And that's what I'm talking about. IDK for Vogue. From NBC's The Voice to Kodak Black's vocals, DMV's own Tamara J gives us epic vocals on the hook of Kodak Black's new song, Easter in Miami. Take a peek. Just announced, the Mochella Unity Fest is this weekend, June 20th, featuring Junkyard Band, T.O.B., EU, and Sugar Bear, and even more. For more details, head over to our Instagram so that we can keep you updated. Congratulations to all the new community partners of DC, including Check-It Enterprises. Take a look.
Today, we are introducing 7 trusted community-based organizations that collectively have hired a team of 150 people who will be dedicated to engaging unvaccinated DC residents and helping them to make a plan to get vaccinated. These organizations have worked with us throughout the pandemic, and they are the Anacostia Coordinating Council. They are Check-It Enterprises.
While on the subject of Mayor Bowser, she just joined POTUS this week to invite visitors from all around the country to come here in the district for the 4th of July celebration. Hey DC, I said we open, right? but maybe too open. This past weekend, Nelly's on U Street had a horrible viral incident that allowed the beloved Pride establishment to be closed for a week to investigate and reestablish policies. Let's get it together, folks. On another note, Respectfully Justin has a question for our lives here in DC. Take a quick look. Hey DC, do we drink and party too much? I feel judged. How about y'all? So we also Wale's pick that he dropped this week. Well, new music dropped today. Are you guys excited? Hurry up and check it out now on wibridgedc.com. And this just in, Amazon and Metro announced a $125 million commitment to create 1,000 affordable housing units at metro stations in the DC metropolitan area. Now that's what I'm talking about. Lastly, we can't get enough of our Southeast queen, Taraji P. Henson. Well, she was just announced the 2021 BET Award Show host this year happening next weekend. Oh man, I wish I could go, but I'm getting honored next weekend. We'll have more for that for you next week. Again, I'm your boy, the Media Prince. For all this and more, head over right now to wibridgedc.com. You don't want to miss out on what we got cooking for you guys. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. I'm going to say that again. Subscribe to our YouTube. And make sure you're following the hashtags WGODC and WIBridgeTMP style for all the latest looks. Now, until next time, we are out. See you next weekend.
You know, sometimes the way things move, it's not how you pursue 'em. You know, yeah. Said it be that battle, you know, yeah. Look, money no go make me fall away. All on my jet, money no go make me run away. All on my jet, too many doors been closing on us. We take it easy. It's type of life we live ain't easy. It's such a beauty. Me and my guys, we did for it, yeah. We know they fear. No go they dollar celebration. We no go gear. No be today, they done they tell us. We no go do one. Now when we up and elevated, now my sharia. Okay, ìṣẹ́jú tó kù kábí débi tá fẹ́ máa lọ, àmọ̀ pé ó kéré o. Ìṣẹ́jú tó kù kábí débi tá fẹ́ máa lọ. No be say I be rascal, no any day can be formal. Ṣó ti gbọ́n pa tó tọ́, ọmọ you gotta be somebody. Ṣé bó ló fẹ́ máa pọ̀? Ọmọ the bed is compulsory. But the thing where they talk, no go stop me, nobody. Yeah. So pretty much Wazy is it means believing in something greater than yourself to guide you through something greater than yourself type of thing. So, you know, we used to play with the word all the time until the guy that actually produced it, his name is Will Beats. He engineered the whole thing. Before it happened, he said to make a song called Wazy. And I was like, all right, cool. And then we made a song called Wazy because everything, the clothing, was way before the song. So it was like, yo. And then we made the song and then I just posted it on SoundCloud and it just started going. That was it. Yeah, I mean, it's cool because I get to remember like 2 different backgrounds and stuff, you know, and I'm privileged to be able to do that because I spent only like 8 years in Nigeria and the rest of my life I've been in DMV, and it's like, I remember everything vividly, you know what I'm saying, from both sides. And it's like, yo, I'm able to combine both cultures just because of that, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I do with my music. I try to like bring different corners and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And try to merge the whole thing, you know? Yeah,
Right now, actually, we have a project out. It's titled Middle Ground. You know, it was pretty much about stuff people go through when they try to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, a dream or like a goal. You know what I'm saying, the day-to-day obstacles. You know what I'm saying. So it's an EP. It's a long EP titled Middle Ground, but you know what I'm saying, we got like a nice little short EP coming and a bunch of content from the Middle Ground. You know, music videos, events, and all that. So, you know. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Simply Hamid, SIMPLYHAMEED. Yeah, check me out, man. Check out the music. Just type Hamididow, HAMEEDIDOW. If you don't like it, cool. If you like it, cool. You know what I'm saying? Just check it out.